She worked at the St. Paul post office. There was a vendor there, and she said, I want you to meet this guy. He's got this little snack shop, and he sells all these things, and he's blind, and it's just an amazing program.
You can make really good money, but you are going to work. That's the one thing I would tell people is get a good pair of shoes and understand that you're working.
An individual who's motivated, who's a self-starter, who's willing to learn how to do things, who comes into the program wanting to work.
But for me, the job shadow was I got a hands-on experience on, is this something I want to pursue?
Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson. The Business Enterprise Program is an opportunity for individuals to start their own business, to actually own and operate their own business, to have a career in a long-standing program that has many successes. And today, we have two operators, one who has over 30 years in the Business Enterprise Program, and the other who is off to a great start on a career doing what he loves to do best, running his own business. We'll also be talking to John Hulet, the director of the Business Enterprise Program of Minnesota. John has all the facts, figures, statutes, and laws. And here's John right now with a few cold hard facts about the Business Enterprise Program.
The Business Enterprises Program, or BEP for short, provides profitable vending machine business opportunities to qualified legally blind Minnesotans. The program operates under the jurisdiction of the Federal Randolph-Shepard Act and Minnesota State Statute 24807. These laws provide a priority for the establishment of these vending businesses on federal and state property. In Minnesota, the Business Enterprises Program is administered through State Services for the Blind, which is the state licensing agency for the program. As the state licensing agency, we are responsible for training, licensing, and supporting those who participate in the program. There are currently 35 BEP vending operators throughout Minnesota that generate over $6 million annually in sales and yield an average net profit of over $42,000. These operators provide vending services to over 185 locations.
Locations. With over 35 vendors and 185 locations, that averages out to be about 5 locations per operator. Here's an operator defining a location in his own words.
I guess I call it a location. As the businesses that I'm aware of, a lot of them are in federal buildings or law enforcement buildings. I happen to be on a college campus. My business is on Minnesota State University, Mankato. So I have all the vending on that university. I also have a South Central College, which is a community college. And I have a couple smaller locations. But so when I say locations, I guess it's the place that I actually have my vending machines.
That is Mike Colbrunn. Later, he'll tell you how he got involved in the Business Enterprise Program, what it takes to be in the program, and his suggestions to someone who is interested in the program. In talking to John Hulet, I asked him the question, John, these are real jobs.
Absolutely. They pay sales tax, provide their income tax statements to the federal government, so they're an independent business owner in the state. They're participating in this program, so there's certain obligations that they have to the Business Enterprises Program in addition to their obligations as an independent business owner in the eyes of the state.
The one thing I've learned with being in the BEP is we are real people doing real work. You know, this isn't a charity case. This isn't a fun little program where a blind person gets to have a couple vending machines around the corners. It's a real business. It's competitive. There's expectations. If you're not doing your job, they will let you know. In the private sector, if you're not making it, there's competition. And I think BEP operators have to understand that there is competition for these locations.
Mike is absolutely correct. There are expectations and requirements.
We require all of our participants to take some online training courses through the Hadley Institute. They're also required to take the state's ServSafe classes in order to become certified as a food handler. We require them to work with our existing BEP operators so that they can get an idea of what the day-to-day requirements are. We also require them to do some in-house training with our technical staff so they can learn how to use the vending equipment and become proficient with filling machines, collecting money, and making simple repairs.
Operator Scott Eggen has made a career with the Business Enterprise Program. He has become a leader, and here's Scott telling a little bit about his journey.
As a kid, I was introduced to the BEP program through my aunt. She lived here in the Twin Cities, and I grew up in the Fergus Falls area. She had asked me to come down to see her one weekend, and she worked at the St. Paul post office. There was a vendor there, and she said, I want you to meet this guy. He's got this little snack shop, and he sells all these things, and he's blind, and it's just an amazing program. Yeah, so I came down and visited with him, and he kind of introduced me to the program a little bit, and I was still pretty young, but I was thinking about it, and opportunity came to do a little farther investigating, and I came down and I met some of the staff here and investigated the program and decided that I was going to do it when I could get myself ready to come down, because I knew I'd have to be down here for a while for training. Eventually I came down and did my training, and while I was here in training, there was an opening at home. They had opened a business in the Fergus Falls area, and the person that was there needed to leave immediately. So I said, well, I would step in, and I took over the business and took off from there. I was there for 10 years, met a lot of great people, learned a very lot. Then an opportunity came. They had opened a business in Moorhead at Moorhead State University, and I said, gosh, I'd like to investigate that business. Went up and looked at it, and I did take it, and then I was there for 18 years. Really enjoyed it. The people were great. Decided I wanted to change, and then an opportunity came here in the Twin Cities to go to a prison, and I said, gosh, that would be a real challenge to do something completely different than what I'm used to. And I've been out there for a couple of years now, and I really enjoy it. It's been a great challenge for me.
Mike, too, is carving out a career in the Business Enterprise Program.
My first business was in Moorhead, Minnesota. It also was on a couple of college campuses. But that was my opportunity. And I also, I had to relocate. It came open, and it was one of these things, if you want it, it's yours. And I had to act fast, and I had to relocate, and I had to be away from my family, and it was kind of a tough sacrifice. But at the same time, I knew that up until this point in my life, I don't get many opportunities. And when they present themselves, I don't.
I asked John Hulet, what qualities makes a great Business Enterprise Program operator?
Some of the most important attributes would be an individual who's motivated, who's a self-starter, who's willing to learn how to do things, who comes into the program wanting to work and is excited about the idea of operating their own business, but recognizing at the same time there's a lot of work involved with operating one's own business.
My suggestions would be to understand that you are going to work, and you are going to work hard. And I always enjoyed work, and I always worked hard. I never had glamorous jobs. But I will say that vending business is very competitive. People want these locations, and you can make really good money, but you are going to work. That's the one thing I would tell people is get a good pair of shoes and understand that you're working.
I know one of the cornerstones of a person who's in our vending program is they love to serve other people. You've got a chance to serve a person's needs, and that's one of those things that I think you'll find every vendor enjoys doing. We're people-oriented, and we like to help other people with a problem, and their problem may be hunger, and we tend to help that by selling them a snack.
So you may be wondering, how do I get started in the Business Enterprise Program? How do I know that I would enjoy it? How do I know that it's for me?
From the time I first looked into BEP and from the time that I was actually entered as a prospective operator, I had a chance to job shadow 2 different people. For me, it was great because you got to see what you would actually be doing. Is this something I'm going to be able to do? Is it something I'm actually interested in doing? And for me, I had a couple of operators that they had different businesses. One was actually, he was operating the business that I'm operating right now. So it was on a college campus, and I really had a firsthand view of what my day would be. And I had another opportunity with a gentleman in St. Peter who had a smaller operation in terms of volume. And he was on a secure facility where, a lot of security issues and in and out of locked doors. And I got to see how that kind of operation would work. But for me, the job shadow was I got a hands-on experience on, is this something I want to pursue?
My recommendation would be to call our BEP program here at State Services for the Blind and talk to our director, John Hulet, and he'll do a great job of introducing you to our program, and you may have a chance to meet some staff. And if you're more interested, we can have you doing some shadowing opportunities, et cetera, and it's a great program.
Well, first of all, I think it's important that if anybody that's listening to this is interested in the program, they should contact me to talk about it. One of the things that I like to talk about with folks when we're first starting out is to let them know how the program operates. Because there's a limited number of viable vending business opportunities in the state, and our BEP vendors typically stay in the program for 20, 30, and sometimes 40 plus years, it can be challenging to know when an opportunity will become available. Though this type of challenge exists, we are always excited about meeting potential participants, discussing the program in greater detail with them, and looking at potential vending business opportunities that may exist. The training is a compilation of interviews, assessments, job shadowing, online training, in-house equipment training, and on-the-job training. This process can take 6 to 9 months to complete.
Such a great opportunity to explore and to learn from those who are actually doing the job that you have an opportunity to make a career out of.
I love running my own business. For years, I worked in management where, although I was responsible for departments and employees and things, it was never mine. And it is unique when it is you know, and you can be responsible to your employers and to your higher ups, but at the end of the day, in this case where, it is me, and I enjoy that. I don't know if I want to say independence, because I do have to answer to a lot of people. I'm responsible to the universities and the properties in which I work. They always have a say in what's going on, and they are the customer, and it typically is their location. So you have to work very closely with you have to work in a lot of parameters, and there's not a lot of wiggle room on certain things. But at the end of the day, it's nice being your own boss, because it's you. It's very personal.
Not only is the Business Enterprise Program a federal program across the whole nation, but you can also learn from their conventions, where they collectively share ideas, help each other, and talk about how to improve the program for you, the individual.
All the Business Enterprises programs are connected through the Rehabilitation Services Administration on a federal level. So periodically that agency will put together trainings or a conference to bring those administrators together to talk about challenges and things that are working well in each state. So there's an opportunity to network and grow the program nationally.
Back in the 1930s, there was an act that went through Congress called the Randolph-Shepard Act. And after that, many states adopted their own mini Randolph-Shepard Act. And that's how our program began throughout the United States. And there are a couple of different consumer groups out there, and I'm a part of one of them. And the name of our group is the Randolph-Shepard Vendors of America. And I happen to be on the board. I've been on our board for about 3 or 4 years. And this year I'm actually the chairman of our sagebrush committee. And we do a couple of trainings each year, but our big one is here in February. So next week we'll be very busy. We all get together and share our collective knowledge, and it's always about those personal contacts you make, and you learn a lot of stuff.
Every state, I believe, has a business enterprises program. My understanding is that there may be one that doesn't. You never know what the statistics, what they exactly are, but my understanding, at least 48 of the states have BEP programs or business enterprises programs.
The Business Enterprise Program, entrepreneurship, working for yourself, your own business. Is it for you? Is it for someone you know? Give John Hewlett a call in Minnesota. And in your state, call your state agency and check out the Business Enterprise Program.
If folks out there listening are interested in learning more about this opportunity, they are encouraged to call me at 651-539-2284. They can also reach me via email at John, John, Hewlett, Hulet, the @ symbol, the word state, STATE, MN for Minnesota, US.
I'd like to thank John, Scott, and Mike for coming on, taking their time and sharing their journey, their experience, their knowledge about the Business Enterprise Program with blind abilities. Once again, hope you enjoyed. Until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the realities of blind abilities.
The realities of blind
abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.